This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Denver, Colorado. I am here on location with Acoustical Illusions. Since 1991, they have been Colorado's air duct cleaning company. I am here with these family-owned and operated. Here's the whole crew right here. We've got the family working downstairs right now as well. Share with me a little bit, guys, how it is you got started in this company. I mean, obviously you were looking for a lifestyle, a way to watch the kids. You went off and got some great training with some of the larger companies out there. Share with me how this passion got started with cleaning the air for folks.
Back in '91, the smoking ban came into Colorado with smoking in restaurants. When they went ahead and decided that wasn't going to be allowed anymore, I bought into a franchise for acoustical ceiling cleaning. That's where the name Acoustical Illusions comes from. 6 months into running our company, I looked at my wife and said the ventilation systems are causing a lot of problem in the ceilings. I went and started with the largest air duct cleaning company in the nation at that time and got some very good initial training. And after that, I went ahead and built my own vacuum. What I had bought wasn't good enough to accomplish the mission that I was trying to get. Went ahead and joined the National Air Duct Cleaners Association, was a member for 12 years, certified mold remediator, ventilation inspector, went through all of the criteria that would make you a viable company. After 12 years, it felt more like a training ground. It is a very good organization. They did set the standards, and I was part of helping create the documents for standards in the industry. When I left the NADCA, I started working with heating and ventilation companies and getting their input on things. And what we do is actually clean the blower of the furnace and actually clean the squirrel cage with a toothbrush, getting all the paint and things from construction. So from that point on, we've basically been targeting new construction. Let's get the ventilation systems cleaned up, work for very professional builders who understand the end user, give them a brand new house, inside and out.
Excellent story. That is great. And basically worked your way up throughout the years, learning more about the industry, opened up your own company. Quite honestly, air is one thing that we take for granted. We really don't think about what we're breathing in. We don't think of the dangers of it, especially in the safety of our own home. Is that really what you find out there with folks?
What really sent us toward the new construction industry was we got a phone call from a woman one day who had moved into her brand new home, and the very first night she spent the night in the home, she ended up in the hospital with a severe asthma attack. They x-rayed her lungs in the hospital and found insulation fibers in her home, and the doctor said, "Don't go back to that home until you've had the air ducts cleaned." She called us. We went and cleaned the air ducts. We found all kinds of insulation and, sheetrock dust, sawdust, paint dust, pop cans, rolls of tape in her duct system. And we said, this is the industry that needs to be our target market, because there is a true need for this kind of service to be performed in a home right after construction. The end user doesn't realize that the construction creates dust in the system. Your mindset is, I have a new home, my ducts are new. Unfortunately, there's nothing the builder can do to protect those ducts from keeping that kind of debris out of them. And the cognizant builders who know this take and build in the expense of a professional duct cleaning into their building service price, because they know the only way to make that happen and to deliver a good clean system to their buyer is to have the air ducts in the home professionally cleaned before the buyer moves in.
That is amazing. It's almost like the carpet guys. When you lay down new carpet, you don't realize those carpet needs cleaned. They need picked up. A lot of stuff accumulates. Whether we realize it or not, air is moving throughout our home, especially in this climate of Colorado. We're talking about heating systems, air conditioning systems. Is that what really is causing a lot of the dirt as well, because you've got air moving so much?
The way I look at it is the air duct system in a home is the lungs of the home. So imagine yourself not breathing. As you're breathing in things, do you take in contaminants? Yes, you do. So if you correlate that to a house having lungs, It breathes during the entire process of construction. A lot of builders feel like they're a dirty builder or something if they call us. Please call, because that's what fixes any of the problems. It's never an issue if you take care of it before you close on a brand new home or even a remodeled home, or purchasing a home from somebody else that had dogs, cats, and you don't take into consideration, okay, the house is beautiful, but I'm allergic to cats.
I can imagine. I mean, like she said earlier, I mean, it's kind of like a silent danger because of the fact that, quite honestly, many times you can't see if it's dirty. It's something you can't really see. Although when you guys got started in a ceiling company, you noticed the ceilings. You could see that debris, and you decided to really attack the root of the problem and go find out where it's coming from.
Absolutely.
That was really what got the whole thing started. You now guys have evolved into more than just duct cleaning. We're talking about geothermal units. We're talking about electric, a lot of different things you've learned throughout the years. Share with me some of those.
Well, basically, when you're talking about geothermals and things, these are more mechanical things. The systems are the same. It's just how it's delivered into the house. So being around HVAC companies, that's where I've really enhanced my education, because all of the new furnaces, it's kind of like the new cars. You could work on a 1967 Chevelle. Well, okay, go ahead and work on a 2015 Corsair. You know, it's not going to be the same thing, because now you look in there, and that's what these furnaces are too. They're very temperamental. They have extra heat exchangers in them. Now there's a primary and a secondary. Those all have to be cleaned. If you don't clean it the way that we do, going for the mechanical components, then you're not getting the full system clean.
You work very closely with custom home builders all across Denver here. Obviously, they don't have time to go in and do the inspections, the detail, the way you're able to do it. We're talking about missing lines, possibly some seriously large debris. That's what you take care of.
Because of the way we access the system, because we do a full system clean, when we go in and access the system, he literally puts his head and arm up in the ductwork, so he can tell that maybe the main trunk line hasn't had the hole cut in it for the return, which then means that the furnace is not getting the return air that it should. And that's a simple mistake that someone just accidentally overlooked from the HVAC side. We find supply lines that are running through the floor that the first section of the line got put in, but oops, the guy who was supposed to put in the second section missed it. We find that when our hose goes through the line. So we are able to help the builder find those kinds of things that get hidden that an inspector can't find, and they're able to remedy that before the homeowner moves into the home, when they have our services performed prior to the closing of the home.
Not only is it safe and eliminates the danger of bad air, but I imagine it would help your furnace run more efficiently. I mean, you guys are known for really going in with a fine toothbrush and getting every nick there out. Is that something that you pride yourselves on?
Very much so. Even if you call an HVAC company to come clean your furnace, you have to be specific. You can't talk about, oh, well, they're coming and they're cleaning my furnace. When they come, they're more concerned with the gas side. Right. Air duct cleaners are more concerned with the airflow side. So that blower, when you get a furnace cleaning, a lot of times, unless you specifically ask for that squirrel cage to be pulled and cleaned, that does not get accomplished on a furnace cleaning. That isn't a knock on the HVAC company. That's what they do. They concentrate more on the gas. If a motor burns out, sure, of course, the HVAC company is going to come in and take care of that. But we find a lot of times people say, I had my furnace cleaned. You just have to do the ducts. We go, we open up the furnace doors, because this is all part of the duct system. It all leads and takes off from that furnace. And we look at the blower, and it is still dirty. And so we go ahead and take...
Many folks out there, the viewers, are probably familiar with what they vent cleaning per se. What do you mean by when you talk about boot cleaning as well? What is that exactly?
The boots that are coming out of the floor, when you look in, a lot of times they're painted, and I'm very cognizant about bioaerosols. So if a paint gets hot and cold and hot and cold, you still have an odor that comes out. People that are sensitive to bioaerosols, they'll let you know, well, you didn't get my ducts totally clean. And that's the magic of our industry. It's, well, I got it done. Well, if you didn't get it done correctly, that homeowner is going to be able to tell you that you didn't get it complete. There must be some other problem, or they have another problem in the home. But that's what separates us from other companies, is we are going for every possibility that could be an irritation to the homeowner.
When I think of air systems being dirty, I think of small debris. But like she mentioned earlier, we're talking about pop cans, rolls of tape. I mean, why is vacuum hose cleaning something that is pretty much a requirement?
When we do air duct cleaning, we're often in homes that have been cleaned before. There are two different types of processes. We're able to do both processes. One is referred to as negative air. The other is referred to as full contact or vacuum brush, which is the process we use. That's kind of like roto-rooting your ductwork system. The negative air system is it's a push-pull system. They hook up a large vacuum on a main trunk line, and they push the dirt and debris to the vacuum. What we find with those types of systems residentially, they're very, very good industrially, but residentially, the ductwork is not straight. There's lots of elbows and bends and turns and screws. And so when you're trying to push a pop can, for instance, through the line, it can get hung up on a screw and not go any further. That does two things. It blocks the line. It allows more debris to get accumulated behind it. Whereas with our system, we hook onto the vacuum hooks onto the pop can and pulls it out the way it fell in. So we're able to pull that out instead of jamming it up. The new systems are getting more and more intricate with VAV boxes, with turning vanes and zone boxes, and those all have louvers in them. You can jam those up instead of clearing them out. So that's the reason why we use our vacuum brush method in residential homes, is it gets the entire system.
I imagine in some of these custom homes anymore, the trunk lines have to get pretty intricate, pretty complicated.
They do, and it's creating the access and the knowledge to get to those areas. A lot of times you have to be quite creative. Many times you run into sheetrock closed areas and you ask, can I cut this sheetrock to get into the main line? If I don't get this access, I won't be able to do a thorough job.
One of the things, I mean, she mentioned obviously the story at the beginning of the danger of bad air, but even the simple cleaning of your dryer duct, I mean, can that be a danger as well?
Absolutely. Oftentimes when people call us to have their dryer vent cleaned, they've already called the dryer vent, the dryer technician, because they think their dryer's broken down. The dryer technician gets there and says, ma'am, it's just no airflow. People have gone out and bought new dryers because theirs wasn't drying their clothes in an efficient manner. The dryer vent line gets plugged up. It doesn't allow for the airflow to let the dryer dry the clothes. If that lint accumulates far enough and gets close enough to the heating element, it can potentially start a vent fire from your dryer vent. But it largely increases energy efficiency, allows for your clothes to get dry in a quicker time frame, and it reduces the wear and tear on your dryer.
Obviously, your focus is working with custom home builders, brand new construction, remodels like what we caught up with you here today. This is an area that you have really decided to focus and be the professionals of. Is it nice to know there are construction folks out there that are trying to deliver a safe product all the way around to their customer?
These are wonderful people, really concerned about their product that they're building. As long as they get it figured to build it into cost when they're constructing, when they're doing it, this should always be something on the mind of the end user and the builder, collectively coming together, making a decision, let's come into a clean environment when we move into our new home.
This is a company that began back in 1991 as a family-owned and operated. You wanted full control of each project and each job. You're dealing with the owners on every aspect of the process. Probably a company that could have grown much larger. Are you glad that you kept it a small boutique style so that you can really control the quality?
In my first 3 years, I got up to 3 trucks, and I was sending employees out, and I was getting some late phone calls, and we have problems. And at that point, I decided, let's just go ahead and family operate this thing. And this is a hard industry to work in, and so 23 years in the field, it's quite a task, but I'm up to the task. I really enjoy the work because of gratification at the end of the job and knowing that the homeowner is in a comfort zone. That's why I stay in business.
Absolutely. We're talking about this is a family service straight to your family. I caught up with them on location here in Denver, Colorado. That is Acoustical Illusions since 1991. Check out their website right on the bottom of the screen there. You can take a look at the services they provide out there. You can also learn a little history about this company that quite honestly has grown over the past 20-some years serving the Denver area. And you can also see right there, you can set yourself up for a free estimate, a free consultation. If you're not sure it's something that their services can provide, you can contact them there as well. This is Gary Atensu with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know. This is Gary Atensu with CNTV, and today we're in downtown Denver. I'm here with Stonewall Fitness. Since 2012, they have been providing fitness for all. They're challenging you to come out and get fit. I'm here with the owner, trainer. Thanks for joining us here, David. Let's start off a little bit about yourself. I mean, obviously your passion is that of exercise, fitness, nutrition. Yet, 2008, that probably wasn't the story. Take us back a little bit where this journey began for you.
Okay. Well, like you said, in 2008 is kind of where the journey began. 2006, I graduated from high school, and I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do with myself. I was just kind of, graduating and kind of getting, okay, maybe this or that and whatever. So it was about 2 years, 2 solid years where it just was a downhill, just kind of getting depressed and just eating, a lot of really bad food and just not really doing anything with my life, and so I ended up gaining a lot of weight. I ended up, just kind of being lazy and not really doing much with myself, and it wasn't until that summer of 2008 where I just had like a reality check, and I just said, you know what, I am not happy with where I'm at. I've got no friends, I've got no real future, I don't have any ambitions, I don't really have anything going for me. And to me, when I took that hard look at myself, I just was like, I'm not happy with this, And it wasn't until I was watching the 2008 Olympics that were held in Beijing, China, that I had my epiphany. I said, you know what? I want to be something more. I want to do something more. Look at these athletes. Look at what they're doing. They're accomplishing something for themselves. And that's what I wanted to do.
That is a great story. I mean, quite honestly, regardless of the time of life, people make this decision, get a little healthier, to get fit a little bit. At that point, they're kind of overwhelmed, I imagine, with the places to choose from. There's a lot of gyms out there, a lot of trainers out there. What is it you're hoping to provide for people, making sure they fit in?
Well, I want to take that more personal touch, and I want to help people realize that no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what your current situation is, whether it's, if you're, got a few extra pounds, or, if you're not having the most productive time in your life, to know that you can come here and you can find what it is that, makes you happy and makes you want to accomplish more.
Speaking of accomplish more, I mean, regardless, when people come out to be fit, obviously they'll have different goals in mind, but they're all looking for results. Let me ask you this. Do you think that one-on-one personal training is something that really kind of skyrockets and boosts those results for folks?
I think so, and of course it depends on goals and it depends on, the specific person. But, from what I've seen with the clients that I've trained and the types of people that I've worked with, and I've worked with a lot of different types of people, I really do feel like, if you are really motivated to want to excel that, I think personal training really can make a difference as far as helping you learn the proper techniques of the exercises, what you need to do to, make sure that you work out safe and do the things that you want to do, and help you give a little bit more direction towards what it is that you want to accomplish.
I mean, fitness is a very personal journey. We're talking about a customized approach because we all have different desires, different goals that we're looking looking for. Some might be looking to get buff. Another guy just may be looking to get healthy again. Quite honestly, this is something that is, are these goals important to set out and define even before you break your first sweat?
Exactly. They are, important to set out, because if you don't have the goals, then what's the point? Why would you even want to spend the money for a personal trainer or even show up to the gym? And half of the battle is just showing up, and that's always the hardest part of every workout. One of the great things about learning in a class is you get to learn, you get to meet new people, and you get to kind of be a part of that journey with other people. It's not one person leading another. We're all in this together. And it could be a rich person with a poor person, with different races, different genders, different economic backgrounds, different anything. But in the end, when you're in that class, you're all the same person, and we're all there for the same reason. And a lot of people, I don't think, realize that. It's, in your fitness class, you can have the most diverse group of people, but you're all doing the same thing, you're all there for the same reason, and in the end, you're all accomplishing the same goals.
We're talking about the human race all under one roof, trying to better themselves, which has got to be a great thing. Some of the classes, they're very specific on areas that they're trying to improve on. I mean, you've got spinning classes, you've got butts and guts. Those are some pretty specific areas. Tell me about them.
Well, it's a lot of fun. I love, mixing it up. And with spinning, it's a great cardio workout, and you get to, you're sitting on a bike, which for a lot of people, they just like to get on the bike and they just pedal and pedal and pedal at the same pace for the whole time. But when you get into that class, you put the tunes on, you have somebody, yelling, come on, harder, harder, go faster, go harder, more resistance and things like that, and that adds an extra level of intensity that you otherwise might not get on your own. And with like butts and guts, it's, a lot of people think, working your core is just like working your abs and trying to get that six-pack. But, your core is a lot more than that. It's your, back, it's your abs, it's your side. It's literally everything in the entire midsection of your body. And so the great thing about the class is, we get to learn a lot of those new exercises and target a lot of those areas that might otherwise you might not work out at all, especially your back. Like one of the biggest, things I notice, a lot of people have chronic back pain, so we always focus specifically on a lot of back exercises to kind of help people, get their posture up and help alleviate some of that pain.
Not only that, it's more than calories and inches. We're talking about a lifestyle that you changed. It gave you some awards. Some of those awards were confidence. Some of those were motivation. I mean, quite honestly, it's got to affect many areas of your life. Some of the rewards you personally have got, you wore around your neck there in a way of medal awards. Swimming, that was something you decided to focus on. How come?
Well, when I was a kid, I was a swimmer, and we looked at a lot of different types of sports to participate in when I was a kid, and my parents always were encouraging me to try out different things and see what I liked best. And I wasn't much for team sports, and my mom used to take me to the pool all the time when she would do her fitness classes, and just something for me to do, and I would just hang out and play. So finally I suggested, I want to try a swim team, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. So I was on a swim team for a few years, and every day we'd go to practice and stuff like that. So when I was after I watched the Olympics and I kind of had my epiphany, I was like, well, I realize now what I want to do. I want to be an athlete. I want to compete at the Olympic Games, but in what? And I didn't know where to start. And I was like, well, I said, I used to swim. Let's start there and kind of see where that takes me.
I mean, let me ask you this. This is something that's been a passion for you for many years. Possibly somebody out there is watching TV. They're thinking, or maybe asking the question, can I do this? Or more importantly, is it going to be worth it? What would you tell them?
When you ask that, it reminds me of this story that I had, a recent experience that I had. When my biggest competition that I had in the past year was the 2014 Gay Games, where I won 8 medals. I won 3 gold, 2 silver, and 3 bronze. And what I remember on the flight home from the Gay Games with the airline is I ended up showing my medals to the flight attendants, and they were really impressed. And they made an effort to say, they actually came out to me in the middle of the flight, asked me to give them one of my medals, and so I gave it to them. And they went up to the front of the plane with the whole flight crew, got on the microphone, and did an announcement and recognized my accomplishments for everybody on the plane. And it was the sweetest gesture, it was so great. And I was talking to the flight crew afterwards, and I was like, I told them, it's so very sweet. You really didn't have to do that, though. And as one of the flight attendants was mentioning, he said, no, we had to do this. It's really important because you never know. It could be the one kid on this plane who saw this, or the one person who can see this and see what you accomplished and not just see it on TV or in the news or something. It's in person. You know, you get to meet this person. This is somebody just like you, and look at what they've accomplished. So it might just be that one thing that inspires that one person. It could be the next Michael Phelps to say, you know what, look at this guy, look at what he did, I want to do that too. And that's what's really important, and that's why I just love doing this, you know.
Keep in mind, we're talking about personalized one-on-one training, we're talking about class training, we're talking about boot camp, something that'll basically create a healthy lifestyle, not only for yourself, but your family members and anyone around you. This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.